I was feeling resistance to get on this live stream today. One, because I feel scared, and I feel scared because I don't have a script prepared, and I also feel joy about that. Yeah, there's something that really touches my heart to know that, like, oh, it's okay to get in front of people without a script. That's interesting. And this, just even this theme of like allowing myself to get in front of you without a script is a piece of the puzzle that I want to talk about today, which is essentially this archetype of the people pleaser and how that psychological construct has lived in me and ultimately as an adult created a lot of pain and suffering. And in this live, I want to create a space to share about how it has lived in me and what I have been doing to essentially transcend this construct, this ego construct that mm, is is basically the thing that keeps me distant from you. It's a thing that kills intimacy, it kills aliveness, um, because there's something that it seeks to get, and that thing is love. But the way that it goes out to get that love, it never actually gets it. It's like it is the irony is that the the strategy itself is what kills the opportunities for love. The strategies to be liked, to please others is the exact strategy that repels people, pushes them away, and and keeps them actually from having an opportunity to meet me in my heart, the place where I deeply want to be met. This part of me, this child in me, deeply has been longing to be met. So for the next 20 to 30 minutes, I'm going to speak from this place, and I just want to set the stage up front and say that I'm going to show up today with the willingness to fall flat on my face. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know how it's going to come out, but I want to take a stand for allowing myself to fall flat on the fucking pavement. And it feels so good to say that. Oh man, it feels so freeing to let myself die. Finally, permission myself, like finally. Good fucking Lord. Oh my God. And I'm here I'm speaking from the liberation that I feel in the permissioning to drop the fucking act. The people pleaser, how it lives in me is there is this sort of it's a very sort of it's a mask, and um it's like a mold that's sort of like, yeah, very constrictive. And there is a constant expectation that I am sort of generating from the world. I have this expectation I'm supposed to be something for you. I I need to be the person that you want me to be. And of course, this is an assumption that I've said. It's like I'm assuming that you want something from me. So so whenever you are in front of me, I'm just expecting that there's some way that I need to change and conform in order to be the thing or the person that you will allow in. And so because that assumption is actually not true, or it's often, maybe sometimes it is actually, I mean, sometimes it is true. How often do we go around life, in life, meeting with different people, and they do have expectations about us. There are a lot of unstated expectations that are happening relationally all the time. And there's a way in which I'm expecting you to have an expectation. And when I don't check that assumption, it turns into like a rule. Like I have to be the person that you think I need to be because I want this love. And thus when I'm not able to, when I'm trying to do this people pleasing thing, I'm like really trying to like be the person that you want me to be. Like it's like I'm really trying hard. Can I just don't do you like this? Is this good enough? Is this? How about what if I go like, can I'm how is this? Is this better? Do you like it like this? How- And I feel like the ickiness as I say this, it's like, ugh, the embodiment of this is like, oh wow, it feels kind of it feels it feels like this is the it's I feel like a porn star basically, where the director's like, no, do it like this, like the other's like, no, no, like I'm more like that, like so it's like someone is like using my body to like get some. It's a very yeah, that's how it lives in me. It's very icky, but so there's this and and then if you don't accept me, if you don't like me as a result of me doing all these things, like, yeah, I have this assumption that you have this expectation of me. I'm doing the thing, and why are you not still loving me? If you give me the signal that you still don't like me or love me, or you reject me, then I move into resentment. Then it becomes, well, then fuck you. Then the people pleaser, the one who actually was like, I'm not, I'm not, I won't hurt you. I'm a lovable person. Look at me. I'm so lovable. Look at that. When you reject that, then I go, fuck you. Fuck you. I fucking own you. Get the fuck over. Then that thing comes out. And the thing back there is the shadow. That's the shadow for the people pleaser. That is the thing that the people pleaser hides. That is the thing sitting in the background that um is really scary for this archetype to admit is there, because if they admit it's there, um, well, first of all, it kills the entire strategy. This whole covert manipulation strategy dies immediately, and it's very scary to admit that there's something there that is violent. It's very scary to admit that. Um, I want to share more like why is that for me? Um, Yeah, because I based my whole identity, I basically brainwashed myself into believing that I'm good. And as long as I believe that I'm good, then things are going to be okay because I know that good equates to love. So if there's any part of me that is not good or evil or bad or like some, this is all obviously I'm judging this. This is like intense amount of judgment. Like this back here, this thing, oh, it's so bad. It needs to be shoved into a corner and pushed away. The more it's pushed away, the more violent it actually becomes because it's like anyone, just imagine anyone, any human being, no matter how fucking beautiful they are, if you lock them in a cage and push them back and say, fuck you, you don't matter, that person is eventually going to become aggressive and violent. It's just how it is. You isolate anyone or anything, they become more aggressive. So this thing back here, it's I feel a lot of love and compassion. It's not actually a violent thing. It's not bad. It's not evil. It just because of it's been shoved away and pushed into the shadows for so long, it has become that way. And what happens is that you'll notice that people pleasers, if you're really with someone who's like, oh man, this is a strong people pleaser, you will not trust them. They're the least trustable. I mean, politicians, you see this all the time. They're just like standard people pleasers. They're very difficult to trust that because you can feel what's behind, that there's something else, there's a different agenda, there's something that's being pushed back and hidden, which actually is, when it's not dealt with, when there is not conscious awareness of what's going on there, it actually is it actually is quite dangerous. It actually is quite violent. And when that comes out, then it's like, oh, I see why I did not trust this person. Oh, wow, that's what I was feeling. It's like they were putting on this whole show with a smile and the nice things, but like there was something back there the whole time. Yeah. And in my world, I was it's confusing if you run this archetype, this people pleasing archetype, it can be very confusing. And I have a lot of compassion for myself and people who just have this thing going on because you might actually have like genuine intentions to connect with someone. You might not be conscious of what's going on back there. And so someone more avoidant types, they're actually very aware of the thing that's back here. They're actually more focused on the thing that's back here than the thing that's right here. So it is often confusing for the people pleaser when they're rejected because it's like, wait, why? What? I actually, I'm actually just like want to connect with you. I just want to be close to you. Like, I don't understand why you're moving away. Whereas this other person's just like, fuck that. What is behind you? You're not naming that. I don't trust that. I'm not going to be around that. Why would I ever do that? You're saying a bunch of bullshit. I don't believe that. Because when I grew up, there was a whole lot of bullshit there was a whole lot of words and not a lot of action. There was a whole lot of words and no action. I don't buy that. So that is a dynamic that is going on. That's a dynamic that's going on. And I wanna shift into like how what to do about this because in my experience this pattern goes really fucking deep. I mean it just it the first moment for me I realized it's actually I'm the awareness of this becoming more and more online over the past years, but basically this pattern started for me when my brother first came home from the hospital and I realized that there was now a new form of competition in the household for love. You know, now it's like I was no longer monopolizing mom and dad's love. It was like specifically mom's love. Now this little cute thing is in the home, and I need to figure out a new strategy because he's cuter, he's needier, and he's got some fucking amazing manipulative strategies to get mom's attention. I mean, you'll never beat an infant at that game if you're, 3 years old. So I needed to figure out a new way to get mom's love, and that way was to be the golden boy, to be the golden child, to be the one that mom will always look up to and always know is behaving so well, being such a good boy, doing all the good things, always has a smile on his face. That's and never cries, never, never puts up a fit, like it's always good. And what's required to do that? Well, repress all the feelings that you claim as bad, repress especially the anger, the sadness, the fear, repress it all so that mommy loves you. And then in life and as an adult, what that translates as is a human being who doesn't actually know what they want or what they need because they aren't feeling their feelings because they learned to totally repress all of that. And maybe they're in touch, people pleasers are often more in touch with their sadness and their fear and and maybe their joy. Just it depends on like what kind of things going on there. But they're definitely not in touch with their anger because that was anger, rage was the exact thing that would not be okay. Would not, serve this would not benefit this strategy. So when it comes to how do I break out of this pattern or how do I alchemize this? The first step is to really get in touch with your anger. There is an incredible amount of rage that lives in you. There's so much. It's yeah, the people pleaser has done a really good job of presenting a story that I have no anger. Like nothing's wrong. Nothing was it's all fine. It's all good. You will especially with men, you will see like, I was fine. Like it's not a problem. It's good. there is there is a deep level of sort of rejecting one's experience, and there's a huge buffer zone between what actually happened and like what they are saying happened. And so when we go back to that shadow back there, that is the rage that is now, you know, turning quite violent because it doesn't have space. It doesn't have space to exist. You lock rage in a cage for years, like it's gonna come out in a violent way. And so much of it, so many of us are afraid. We're afraid of that. We're afraid to be angry because we're afraid of being violent. But and so we suppress it. But that suppression is literally the thing that creates violent rage. So the pathway is to create spaces where you can actually feel your anger and feel your rage in a safe space that's contained, where it's like, okay, we're here to do this thing. We're here to express our rage. We're here to speak to what we're angry about. Even if we don't know what that is, you will not know what it is. You won't know what it is until it's a choosing to consciously like open up that hose, that stream of rage. Like it it is a conscious choice, and it does require practice to sort of like really like let that out. But like once it starts coming out, you suddenly start to realize like, oh shit, there's a lot of things I'm angry about. Like there is a whole huge mound of resentment that lives here. And and then the more you look at it, the more you realize, oh, or like I realize that, oh, because there's all this resentment here, there's a lot of ways in which I'm trying to take revenge on people unconsciously in my life, and it's creating a lot of problems. So, so yeah, that's step one, is feeling your anger, feeling your rage. Step two, and this is not linear, but these are just ways, you know, that I would go about it, is doing the relational edge work, which um yeah, just like is probably is just like so potent, because relational edge work is essentially a safe space to role play the the things that happened or didn't happen in your childhood or past, where basically something hurt, some need wasn't met, you know, you didn't get to say the thing that you needed to say, or you didn't set the boundary that needed to be set, or there's just some way that like there's some sort of like shadowy part of you that you have been a huge no to allowing to show up in your world because you're afraid of the consequences of what this thing will do. And so creating a safe space to actually role play where that character can come to life and actually have space to breathe and feel and become alive. And this is actually really scary because this whole ego identity, this box, is designed to like repress these different things. You know, in this instance, I'm specifically talking about this violent raging thing back here, but we all have our own version of the shadow, many different shadows that we hide. There's a way that I present publicly right now, you know, like I'm presenting publicly. I'm basically, I found it hilarious that I'm wearing like all white, and then just, I don't know, I have this crystal thing. It's very like, oh, you can trust me. So it's very much, you can trust me. I'm pure, you know, right? That's my public facing self. And then there's some private facing self that I don't want you to see, which is the one who's like impure, the one who's violent, aggressive, an asshole, um, just like, yeah, just like highly manipulative. Um, so relational edge work is an opportunity to step into these parts of us that we normally hide in the background, because why would we want to do that? Why would, like, what is the purpose of that? What's useful about that? This thing back here, this it might be violent rage to start with, but as I create space to let it out and really let it to like blah, do whatever it needs to do, eventually the violence, whatever thing it needed to do, sort of like it just kind of like dissipates, like that. It's like this highly charged energy just like becomes less charged, and then what's behind that is actually something that's very valuable. There's a gift, there's gold there, there's something that this thing, the shadow represents that um, when it's unseen as a shadow principle, it creates like causes harm, because it's like manipulating, it's competitive, it's doing things that are actually harmful. But like when it has space to come into the light, it becomes a bright principle, which is like for me, this shadowy part it brings a lot of clarity. It brings a lot of clarity, and it's able to actually confront someone and say and really like be with them in a way that is like deeply penetrating, where it's like it actually cuts into someone all the way into their heart in a way that blossoms and blooms them in a way that maybe like they would not be able to bloom had there not been someone willing to stand in the fire with them and say, no, I'm not buying that bullshit. Whatever is going here, I don't buy it. There's something underneath there. There's something more important here that you're sort of covering up because you don't think that it's okay for this part to be here. But I know there's something beautiful and empowering in there. I'm going to take a stand for that, and I'm just going to be with that, and it requires some anger for me to stand with you in that and not back down and not like play, we have so many strategies to distract or like blame or this or that to like be able to like really assert myself without reacting to you, but saying like, no, I'm going to stand strong because I am here to fiercely love you. And so in my world, I really do believe that the people pleaser, the gift behind that is someone who's fiercely authentic. It's like the polarity is like deeply inauthentic. The people pleaser is an inauthentic liar. The the polarity of that is this fiercely loving essence that is caustic, that cuts deep into people's hearts and blossoms them in ways that they could have never imagined. And it is those type of people that we need in society, that we need in life. Like those are the people that will, oh my God, they will just like shatter all the bullshit that's been happening. They're the people that we take a deep fucking stand for authenticity. And it's so beautiful because they understand what inauthenticity truly is. So if you're someone who's been stuck in this people pleasing pattern, I want you to know that it is the greatest fucking gift to humanity because you get to feel the pain and the consequence of being fake, of manipulating people, of lying, of putting on a show, of putting on a mask that isn't really you. You get to feel the deep pain, grief, and suffering of that pattern so that you can recognize and realize how profoundly important and beautiful and enlivening it is to be the person who shows up in life and says, fuck that, fuck that. I stand for fucking love, and this is not that. And I'm not here to judge you, and I'm not here to put you down. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. I'm here to say, I feel something that is deep inside you that I fucking love. It is so fucking beautiful. There is some innocent being in there that you have been covering up, that you've been hiding, that you've been pretending like you need to do this fucking clown thing in order to be accepted. Fuck that. I'm not willing to stand with you in that. I am not going to play that game with you. No, I love you. And I fucking know there's more there. There's something deeply important. And and it's like you're culturally appropriating yourself. You're taking this this essence that has lived so many lives, has died so many times, has a depth of culture, tradition, and history so beautiful, so pure, and you're making fun of it basically through these different patterns, through this ego dance. I'm not I'm not willing to be with you in that way. And I will be with you in this way because I see there's something I see that thing that you are, and I'm here to call that out in you. And there's something very deeply satisfying to be able to get there, right? There's something very powerful to be able to truly stand in that place with with whoever it is in your life. And notice that it comes from a place of conscious choice, not reactivity. And in order to do that, you need to take care of your own shit. You need to love yourself. You need to accept yourself. You need to accept this shadow. If you don't accept the shadow, you become the thing that reacts, that projects, that blames, that violates, that hurts. And so I invite you to start today, start noticing the ways in which you are judging, violating, projecting, manipulating. You are doing all of these things. You are doing all of these things because you are avoiding the thing that lives in you. So, and the way that you're dealing with it is by projecting it on the world and saying like, this person is it. Fuck that guy, this person, Trump, Biden, whatever the fuck it is. Notice what you're doing. Because when you can truly love and accept that thing that lives in you, then you get the gift of fierce love. Then you get the gift of standing in your power, standing for love in a big fucking way that is so, 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 so needed right now. And with that, I feel complete.